Welcome to In the Spotlight, a regular podcast from the Witham, Barnard Castle's Community Arts Centre.
Hello and welcome along to another edition of In the Spotlight, the Witham's weekly podcast with me, Stuart Laundy. It's a busy old show this week. Coming up a little bit later, I'll be chatting to comedy promoter Peter Dixon and the Witham's marketing executive Jane Woodward about the summer programme which has just been unveiled. There's a chance to win a couple of tickets to our next film screening, which is Living on May the 11th. And as always, we'll finish off with a look at what's on in the next 7 days at the Witham as well. But first, it's time to welcome this week's guest, who is Ian Bailey. Ian is a singer-songwriter from the Northwest, and he's coming to play a show at the Witham on Saturday, May the 13th. It'll actually be the second time this year Ian's been across to the Witham. Earlier on in February, I think it was. Along with Tim Chew, he was part of the celebration of Simon and Garfunkel show, which proved extremely popular and went down very well. On this occasion, Ian will be treating us to an acoustic evening of his own music, going through his back catalogue, right up to his most recent releases, which he's produced with fellow songwriter Daniel Wiley, who's best known for his work with the Cosmic Rough Riders. Now, here to get us in the mood, here's a track from Ian's most recent album, which is called You Paint the Pictures. This is a lovely song called I Wanted the Sun to Shine.
We're coming up for
So that was a lovely song called I Wanted the Sun to Shine, which is from Ian Bailey's latest album, You Paint the Pictures, which was released last year. And as I mentioned in the intro before, Ian is now no stranger to the Witham because he came over earlier this year as one half of a celebration of Simon and Garfunkel in February, a very popular show which went down very well. So first of all, Ian, how did you find the Witham? How did you find the gig on that occasion?
Oh, fabulous, Stuart. Yeah, thanks for having us. It's a beautiful venue. We thoroughly enjoyed the show, and we were pleasantly surprised, by the reception, for our first visit there. It was great, really enjoyed it.
Now, we are, of course, here to chat about your second visit of the year to the Witham, which is a solo gig, an acoustic gig that you're doing for us on May the 13th. And I have to be honest, you're on a bit of a roll at the minute. We were just chatting before, and I sort of first came across you when you were part of a project called The Lost Doves, which you did with a singer called Charlotte Newman. That was 3 years ago. And then you put out the album Songs to Dream Along To in 2021. Then came along with You Paint the Pictures last year, and you're currently working on new stuff for your next album as well. So you seem to be quite prolific at the minute.
It all started in the sort of lockdown period, really. Well, the Lost Doves album got finished just before it with Charlotte, and then she's got various musical projects she's working on herself. So it was based on being a one-off thing. We were never going to be a duo going out playing live or anything. It was we just wanted to put an album together. So that was that. And then during the lockdown, I'd known Daniel as a Facebook buddy for several years, and we got sort of chatting about this and that. And I exchanged a couple of videos that my daughter Sasha had put together for me, basically just as a way of making music when we couldn't go out playing live. So I put some videos together, and I just sort of sent them over to Daniel, and just on the sort of, do you want to have a look at this? And he loved them. And we got chatting about the idea of possibly doing some co-writing as a way of, keeping the creative juices going, if you will. So and so he sent 4 tracks over of, that we both collaborated on, and sort of we'd work on a sort of 50-50 basis of what we do. He might do a bridge, or I might do a bridge, or it might be a verse or a line. And then I put it all together in this little studio I've got here in my daughter's old bedroom, which I converted into a little studio when she moved out. And I just got cracking on. We started with an EP, Shots of Sun, and that got great reviews and real good positive feedback. So we carried on progressing on an album, which became Songs to Dream Along To. And then Daniel's got stacks and stacks and stacks of song ideas, and we just said, come on, let's just keep going. This is we're loving doing it, and so here we are. We're album free, and just as I mentioned to you, we just finished the next track, and it's all going well with that. It's great to be creative doing that, and it helps to sort of keep things, the original music side going. It's important to me. So Daniel's a fantastic melody writer. He writes such great melodies that between us, we put the chemistry's great. It works a treat. So it's a great thing. Yeah.
So there is a bit of distance between the two of you, isn't there? Daniel's based up in Glasgow, am I right in thinking?
He is, yeah. He's up in Glasgow. I'm in sunny Leyland in Lancashire. So.
I know it very well from my very early days in local journalism over Preston, and Blackpool way, and what have we.
We were chatting, weren't we, last time when I saw you at the Witham? Was the Blackpool Gazette you worked for?
It certainly was. So is everything done distance between you? Do you ever meet up and
no,
around or?
But everything's done via the internet. We chat on the messenger thing, and we chat on sort of, ideas across. Song ideas are put across in WAV files and sent over, and vice versa. And yeah, everything's done, technically, if you will. Yeah. So.
These days I wonder how we got this far. this brittle star. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it before the teardrops start. Choose to walk away as the faithful grow. Steal what remains from the seeds we sown. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Don't make me cry alone. Standing on the edge of the world and I'm looking down. Eyesight in the cold, stealing souls, there's a battleground. How will we explain when we're too far down the line? Will you take it or leave it this time? This time. This far, bringing out the life of this brittle star. Take it or leave it. 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 Don't make you die alone.
In the Spotlight, a regular podcast from the Witham.
This is Stuart Laundy with you here on In the Spotlight, the Witham's weekly podcast, chatting to Ian Bailey, singer-songwriter who's coming over to play a show for us on May the 13th. And that was another track of Ian's. It was called Take It or Leave It from his 2021 album, Songs to Dream Along To. As we continued our chat, Ian explained why he was still such a staunch supporter of albums and album music in the face of ever-changing musical tastes.
Whereas once you would buy an album, you know, I mean, I remember buying or getting albums from, you know, W.H. Smith, for instance, with a record token that I'd been given for Christmas. And I'd go in and buy an album and I'd listen to it from start to finish. Whereas nowadays, you know, most music is listened to on an album, unless you're you know, of course there's lots of diehard music fans out there, but a lot of people just skip tracks and don't get that concept of an album anymore, you know. Music's changed a lot, I guess. You know, it's become very formula and stuff. There's a lot that goes on, and we're big fans of songs. You know, your proper structured songs and stuff. You know, which that's kind of where we come from. And you know, there's always going to be people out there that love that stuff. You know, I'd like to think there was anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of W.H. Smith, I remember that I used to do when I was a kid. I used to do the milk round. I used to get £1 a day doing Monday to Friday on the milk round. But I could only ever buy an album once a fortnight because W.H. Smith albums were $5.99.
Ouch. Ouch.
So I had to save up for 2 weeks to get an album. I couldn't buy an album a week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's a great. I think what was my first album I got? I think it was Buddy Holly Lives, which was it was like a brick wall with a graffitied Buddy Holly Lives on the wall there, and that was the first album I got. And the second one would have been with a record voucher. Would be Revolver.
All right, my first one, the first one I bought myself was Blondie Parallel Lines.
Well, that's so weird because that was the other one I was going to say. That Parallel Lines was the other one, yeah. And then BG Spirits having flown. That was the other one as well.
I was about 13 when I bought Parallel Lines, and my mother and father, because I bought it with my own money, you see, they couldn't do anything about it. But well, what's that you've bought? And so my mother had a look at the lyric sheet and then freaked out when she saw that Heart of Glass contained the word pain in the arse or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that was like, what's this? Oh dear.
That production on the album is just so good. It's a great album. That sounds as fresh today as it did when you first heard it. It's got that sound about it.
We should probably talk about what sort of an evening we can expect from you. Otherwise, we'll just sit here for the next couple of hours talking about our record collection. So, what have you got lined up for us on May the 13th?
Well, I'm going to be playing a lot of stuff from my sort of back catalogue. My first albums, from solo albums from a few years back. I play a few from the Daniel sessions, and just a bit of a eclectic mix of my work that I've been producing over the years. That's the order of the day, I think, there, Stuart. Yeah.
How would you describe your music? How would you describe the sound of it? I always say it's a bit like the Byrds. I don't know whether that's an insult or not.
No, I love the Byrds. I mean, studio-wise, I use Rickenbackers on most of my material. Live, I use acoustic guitars, 12-string acoustic and a 6-string acoustic. But yeah, the Byrds influences, you can't deny that. That's always going to be there. It's they're a big inspiration, should I say? But I loved them all. Since I first heard Mr. Tambourine Man. Years and years. We used to go camping in the Lake District with a big ghetto blaster, with the Byrds' greatest hits. We used to just walk around like rebels, just playing the Byrds loud through round Bowness, like that over your shoulder, like. Yeah, in the summer, sunshine, and it was great. Yeah, I loved it.
Well, that's brilliant, Ian. Thank you ever so much for joining us on the podcast, and we look forward to seeing you on May the 13th. Tickets are available as we speak. You can get them online at thewitham.org.uk, or you can call the box office on 01833 631107. Ian, many thanks, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
A pleasure, Stuart. Thanks for having us.
In the Spotlight, a regular podcast from the Witham.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that chat with Ian. It's going to be a great night when he comes across in a couple of weeks. Now, competition time.
It's competition time!
Yes, we've got a couple of tickets up for grabs for the next film that we're showing at the Witham, which is on Thursday, May the 11th. It's the Oscar-nominated Bill Nighy film Living. To be in with the chance of winning the tickets, simply tell us the name of the film in which Bill Nighy played an aging rock star called Billy Mack. It was released in 2003 and directed by Richard Curtis. Send your answers by email to info@thewitham.org.uk. We'll put the address up on the socials so you know where to send your answers, and we'll pick a winner out and be in touch.
In the Spotlight, a regular podcast from the Witham.
This week saw the release of the summer programme from the Witham, and I'm joined by comedy promoter Peter Dixon, who is also part of the programming group at the Witham, and also I've got marketing executive Jane Woodward with us as well. Firstly, Peter, we've had some good comedy nights so far this year, and we've got more to look forward to. What's been the highlights so far?
Hi, Stuart. Yes. There's been some great shows this year. Most of them have actually sold out, which is great news. I suppose pretty much the first show was the biggest show we've done for quite a while now. Rob Beckett and Josh Widdicombe, and they did a work in progress show for their Parenting in Hell podcast. And just this last week, it actually performed at Wembley Arena. And if you look on the Withams Facebook page, you'll see some film of that very podcast live at Wembley Arena, which is made me smile when I saw that and thought 2 months ago the show was done at the Witham in more or less the same format. Not as many bits and things on the stage, but same show anyway.
So give us a flavour of what we've got coming up between now and September.
Well, quite a few shows as usual. The next show is a little bit different, actually. Richard Digance on the 16th of May. Some people will remember Richard from a lot of TV work he did maybe a decade or two ago. And he's a sort of singer-songwriter, and he sings funny songs. So that isn't the normal show that we put on, but as we always say, we try and mix things up, and we put different styles of different shows on. Then we've got Emmanuel Sanubi, and it's his first tour show, and he was nominated for Best Newcomer at the Edinburgh Festival.
We've got an old favourite coming, I think, haven't we? Giles is back.
Yes, we've got 3 work-in-progress shows this year, and what they are when acts go out, like those podcasts that we mentioned, to try out new material. And we always do them in July as well, because at that time of year, it's just before the Edinburgh Festival. So we've got a day on the 29th of July, and a couple of days before that, on the 26th of July, we have Scott Bennett trying out material for his tour, and also for a BBC Radio 4 programme, which is always fun when they do that, because it's slightly different to doing preparing for a live show. But as you say, the day before that, 25th of July, we have Giles Brandreth coming along. And unfortunately, if you're looking for a ticket, it's only returns only, because the show sold out within a week, which is actually faster than what he sold out previously. So he's even at Giles's age, he's getting even more popular.
He's I mean, with our audience especially, he's a particularly big draw, isn't he?
Yeah, he's great, and he's a fantastic person to be with as well. He's so funny, and he's so charming.
And then after the summer holidays, what have we got to look forward to sort of later on in the September time?
Yeah, quite a few shows. First one up after that is 29th of September, Marcus Birdman. Now, Marcus he doesn't live in Barnard Castle himself, of course, but he used to quite a while ago, because his dad was the head of the Teesdale School when I was at school. So that was in the sort of 1970s or so. Mr. Talbot, for anybody who remembers him. He was at the school for, I think, all the time I was there. He was head of divinity as well. He was the person who sort of looked after the chapel, the vicar of the school, if you like. And Marcus is his son. But he's been a stand-up comedian for a lot of years. Sad thing was, although he's okay now, he had a stroke a few years ago, and he's talking about that, which doesn't sound like a great subject for humour, but he does it in such a way that's so funny. Then an old favourite, Stephen K. Amos, 12th of October. He's coming along. He's been to us a couple of times before over the years. He's great. The last few years, he's not been actually doing comedy. He was in My Fair Lady in the West End, which is obviously quite a change. After that, we've got Jo Caulfield, always a firm favourite.
She's a favourite, isn't she?
Yeah, she's fantastic. Great comedian. She was voted Comedian of the Year. I think she's the current one at the moment, I think. Anyway, fairly recently she was voted that. So, the industry really recognises what a star she is.
And I'm guessing that you'll be you'll have your suitcases already packed and for a week up at Edinburgh as usual.
Just a week.
Just a week. Oh,
I'm probably going
a month,
2 or 3, I think. But I haven't told anybody at home.
So that'll be looking for. I mean, you always come back full of vim, vigour, and excitement about all the new acts that you see up there.
Yes, yeah, it's great. It's a fantastic place. If anybody wants a holiday in August and wants to stay in the UK, doesn't mind crowds but likes entertainment, it is definitely the place to go.
Excellent. Peter, thank you ever so much for that.
It's a pleasure.
Something to look forward to on the comedy front over the next few months.
In the Spotlight, a regular podcast from the Witham.
So I'm joined by Jane Woodward, who's our marketing officer and who has spent many hours, days and weeks putting together the brochure, the programme for May to September. She also forms part of the programming team as well. Jane, welcome along to the podcast.
Thanks, Stuart. It's good to be here.
And there's the first thing that I noticed from the brochure is there's a lot of stuff going on over the next few months.
This is the first time that we've had the brochure that covers 5 months. You might think there's not a lot going on in the summer, but our big thing is obviously the Summer Festival, where we've got the free music in the garden every weekend from end of June until the end of August.
One thing that caught me eye, we've got Amanda Owen coming back.
We do, and Amanda features on the front cover of the What's On programme, and she's coming on the 3rd of June, an evening with the Yorkshire Shepherdess.
It'll be interesting to see what she's got to say, given that she's been in the news quite a bit recently for non-farming matters.
It will.
I'm not sure whether that will possibly be covered in the Q&A when she does it, but who knows?
It's worth coming along just for that, isn't it?
And we've got some old favourites coming back as well. We've got the jerseys.
We have the jerseys live on the 17th of June, and that's one of several tribute bands that we've got coming this year, because we've got Bruce Springsteen North East Street Band coming in September, on the 9th of September. Well, we've got the Carpenters Experience on the 1st of July, and then we've also got a Queen tribute and an ABBA tribute coming later on in the year as well. Because one of the things that this programme does is it also lists on the back of the programme, the Coming Soon section lists pretty much everything we've got for the rest of the year. So if you pick up the What's On programme, you can basically find out everything that's coming. And
along with all the music performances and the comedy that Peter's touched on before, we've got some pretty good theatre coming. What sort of things have we got on the stage?
So in September, we have a one-woman theatre play called Mrs. Roosevelt Flies to London. And that is obviously followed later on in the year with another woman play about Enid Blyton. Now, she was a bit of a divisive character. Did Enid Blyton feature in your bookcase when you were a kid? Yes. I've still got Enid Blyton books, and my boys have read them, so... Excellent stuff. And Mrs. Roosevelt, she follows hot on the heels of Mrs. Churchill from earlier in the year. We seem to be doing the leaders, the war leaders' wives. We could have made it a series. Yes, and I think this one will be equally well received. Mrs. Churchill certainly was well received by the audience that came. And if you had to pick one out for yourself, what leaps off the page for you? What sort of thing do you? I'll get you to part with your hard-earned readies for tickets. Well, I know, Stuart, that our music tastes differ slightly, but I'm definitely drawn to Claire Martin. I'm definitely a fan of jazz and swing. And brass bands, of course, so Reg Vardy Band in September. That'll be, I'll definitely be putting my money down to get tickets. Thanks for just having a browse through the brochure with us there, Jane, and we'll catch up again soon. Thanks, Stuart. And finally this week, it's a look at what's coming up at the Witham over the next 7 days, and it's over to our wonderful volunteer, Beverley Redfearn.
Hello. Well, there's a lot happening, of course, but first there's a quick mention to say that unfortunately this weekend's Sunday classic performance by the Aquarius Quartet has had to be postponed. The good news, however, is that they'll be coming back in the autumn, and we're trying to fix a new date for that. Then on Tuesday, May the 2nd, we welcome Catherine Tickell and the Darkening. And then on Thursday, May the 4th, Sarah McCade. She's heading our way as part of her UK tour. Finally, on Saturday, May the 6th, the regular Northern Crafts Market will be held in the Witham Hall, and that will be from 9:30 till 3:30 p.m, and it's always a good opportunity to buy something a little extra special, either for yourself or for a gift. As always, details of these and all future events at the Witham are available online at www.thewitham.org.uk.
Thanks, Beverley. Well, that's it for the podcast this week. If you like what you've heard, give us a follow, leave a comment. Don't forget to enter the competition to win a couple of tickets for the screening of Living in a week or so's time. I'm going to leave you this week with more music from Ian Bailey and a reminder that he's performing an acoustic session at the Witham on Saturday, May the 13th. This is a track from his most recent album, which is called You Paint the Pictures. The song's simply called Paint the Pictures. And we'll see you next time on In the Spotlight.
What a day to get away, forget everything inside, catch a train, take a plane, get something from this life. This world is crazy and washed up with the tide. The times are changing, the seasons never hide. Face hides behind disguise to fly something from their eyes. We paint the pictures, write the scriptures of our time. The days are changing, the seasons never hide. Direction, someone who leads. People need protection. It's so hard to know what's going on in a world gone so wrong. What a day, get away, forget everything inside, catch a train, take a plane, get something from this life. This world is crazy and washed up with the tide. The times are changing, seasons never hide. We paint the pictures, write the scriptures of our time. The days are changing, seasons never hide.
Thanks for listening to In the Spotlight from the Witham, Barnard Castle's Community Arts Centre. Available on all major podcast platforms. So please give us a follow and leave a comment. Or listen online at www.thewitham.org.uk. We'll be back soon with another episode.